So what's good, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. Christian here again with another video. And as you see, DLC 2 patch has came out, and I know a lot of you are probably struggling getting used to these changes because there's a lot of changes. Now what I can say is that finally this game feels like a finished AAA Dragon Ball game. Okay guys, even though I don't agree with all the changes, I think overall the game feels actually finished at this point. It actually feels like a polished game, and I have to applaud Bandai for that. You know, I'm not gonna be super biased and just hate on them for the sake of hating them. At least they got to a point where I feel like the game is in a good spot. Now this guide right here is gonna help you adapt to all these changes, because you know, even me, I'm struggling to adapt because there's a lot of changes. This is basically a new game at this point. So let's start with the first change that's pretty huge in my opinion, is that they buffed front facing combat. Okay, so when you're facing your opponent, I have the Omega Shenron here set to guard after hit. So I'm gonna show you something that's gonna change the game completely. Okay, so now when you start your combos from the front, you can finish all of your chains without your opponent being able to block. Previously, there was only a couple characters that could do that, SS4 Gogeta and Kid Buu, but the rest of the cast would only be limited to one follow-up before the opponent could actually guard in the middle of your combo and even perception you. So front-facing combat was really weak in the base game and following, but finally they fixed it. Now the opponent cannot guard while you're comboing them from the front. That means that when you get your opponent in a combo, just following the combo forward will guarantee more damage than attempting a chain, because if you charge a chain, then they can sidestep it. If you attempt a chain while they're able to guard, see, Omega Shenron can get out the combos. Basically, attempting a combo chain in the middle of your combo is less guaranteed damage, but with the option of if you stun them, that means you could get their back, right? So basically, now combo chains are higher risk from the front than normal combos. So in my opinion, we're gonna see people adapt and start just following their combo chains from the front a lot more often. Okay, now the only thing is, of course, Omega Shenron can block. That means he can start his offense from there, but it's a 1 in 3 chance. So at least one of the follow-ups can be followed for guaranteed damage, a 1 in 3 chance. So we're probably going to see people adapt and use that a lot more often. All right, so let's talk about tracking and movement. Okay, so movement has been buffed according to Bandai, but I do not notice the differences. It still feels like the same game. You can still move the same way. So if you could move before, you can move right now. It's the same. Let's talk about combo tracking. Okay, so combo tracking has been stiffened and buffed. Okay, what does that mean? That means your combos coming from the front will land more than likely. Okay, they don't go off track like they did, but they can still be sidestepped. Okay, so it's not like the base game where the combo chains kind of follow your opponent. They still just go forward, but they don't go off track, which is a huge improvement in my opinion. You also get ki back at a faster rate when hitting your opponent. If you notice, my ki is going up pretty substantially as I fight, which is pretty good for aggressive gameplay, which I like. In hand-to-hand fights, you won't have to charge as much, which is really good, because that means you could keep the aggression going. And when you spend a Z-burst dash, you could get your ki back with the rest of the combo hits, making it kind of like a risk reward thing. If you actually land your hit, then you will get the ki back for that Z-burst dash, which is pretty nice in my opinion. Another change is that Omega Shenron here cannot perception me while I'm doing this, guys. You cannot start a perception while you're getting hit, and not only that, you cannot start a perception while you're guarding, which is a huge change, because before you could just confirm your guard into a perception, and but the startup, see, is very much like way too slow to catch normal attacks. But what it can do is catch you know, charged up attacks. See? So it can catch charged attacks like you saw, but if you notice, it costs 2 skill points. So now perception, not only does it come out slower, not only can it not catch regular combos from the front while getting hit or guarded, it also costs 2 skill points to do a super perception, which is huge. You know, normal YouTubers, normal Dragon Ball YouTubers will probably gloss over that because for them it's not a huge deal because they don't actually play the game. But if you actually play the game, you know 2 skill points for a super perception is a huge cost. That also means if Omega Shenron attempts a perception and has no skill points, then I could start my offense with a light smash. In fact, even if Omega Shenron were to have 1 skill point, I could start my offense with a light smash. Say just like that. It just goes through right the perception. So now front facing combat is a lot stronger, guys. Okay? Now, what about the mid-range? What are the mid-range changes? As we know, I famously have said that the mid-range is very weak in this game. Let's see if they added some tools for the mid-range, okay? So, of course, we know we have light smashes. Now, light smashes have been buffed in range. You see how much range that light smash has? I could start my offense from here, all the way back here. That's a lot of range, but of course, the opponent can dodge that, of course. So, light smashes have increased range. But let's see if they fix the other options. Okay, so we got dash attack. Let's try it out. The opponent can still guard, so dash attack is still not a good option as starting offense from mid-range. So they didn't fix that, but of course I did teach you that you could use kicks to start offense there. See? Let's see. We have the dragon dash attack. Let's see. Nope, still not good for linking combos, but they did add this right here. So basically now Dragon Dash attack has a faster charge speed. So it pushes back the opponent really fast. So if the opponent is charging up a Ki Blast or something similar, you could punish with that fast. And then of course we have Z-Burst Dash to start your offense there, see? So they added that option at mid-range. You could basically counter a Ki Blast with that Dragon Dash charge. And then into Z-Burst Dash. That allows you to start your offense, okay? Now, if you notice, Z-Burst Dash has been buffed as well. Now the cost is only 1 bar at close range. And it's based on distance, guys. So basically, the old style Al Woohoo resets are now active once again. Alright, so you can take the opponents back just like that. You wait a second and you wait for them to stand up. You can start a reset. See? Just like in the base game, guys. Now, what I can say though is that dash canceling is still cheaper, guys. So that only costs like a quarter bar and it's cheaper to do. So if you are good with movement, then movement is superior to that. Now, sweep resets are still in the game. Sadly, they did not take them off. So you can still sweep reset with the right timing. The only thing is the opponent does have an armor on the animation getup, so they can sidestep it. So the timing has to be pretty tight. But if you get it, you can still do it. So that's pretty bad. I wish they would have took that off. Added a little bit extra armor on wake up to make opponents have to act sooner, because you know, that's pretty cheese still, and it's still in the game. Okay, now let's talk about Ki Blast. Okay,
This should provide some amusement.
so Ki Blast rush damage has been nerfed on combos. So basically, when you combo Ki Blast, it only does like 1500 damage with Frieza, which is pretty minimal. So that basically means they're attempting to nerf zoning. Okay, they're attempting to nerf Ki Blast damage, but of course, if you follow my videos, you know I use Ki Blast to initiate offense from here, right? So that still has a lot of utility. Another thing is that they have buffed scaling, okay guys? So damage scaling has been buffed, which means that low DP characters are gonna be doing similar damage or more similar damage than compared to high DP characters. So low DP characters such as Goku Mini here can compete a lot better against higher DP characters. Watch this. So a full combo does 8,924 damage with Mini Goku here. I'm gonna bring in Frieza.
Provide some amusement.
So a full combo does 9,402 damage. So it still does more damage, but the damage scaling has been kind of more equalized. So that brings up the lower DP characters against the higher DP characters, which is pretty good in my opinion for balance. Another balancing change is that they buffed the damage scaling on supers. So Frieza here, of course, we know has a death beam that basically hard knockdowns opponents. Now check this.
Would you mind piping yow?
So the first death beam does 7,000 damage. The second one only does about maybe 3,000. Okay, so basically half damage on the second super. So now you can't link supers together for huge damage. Also means that if you were to combo into the death beam, so from 8,000 to 11,000, that means the death beam only did 3,000 damage. See? So now combos into supers have basically been nerfed. So supers overall have been nerfed, and by association also ultimates have been nerfed. They're gonna do less damage than before. Okay. So overall, the changes in my opinion have been great for the game. This game finally feels like a finished game with intentional purpose and direction. So I gotta give props to Bandai for that. Now I don't agree with all the changes. I feel like they went a little too far with the damage scaling on supers maybe, but that's fine. I don't think it's gonna affect the game that much. I think the game is now in a good spot and we could kind of leave it alone for a little bit. But like I mentioned, this game is in desperate need of additional content. We need more game modes and ways to play these characters. As far as the characters are concerned, they're okay, they're serviceable. I enjoy them. I enjoy Majin Buu here. But like I mentioned in my last video, lack of characters is not the game's what this game is lacking is lack of game modes and content. Now as far as the patch, what are my recommendations so you can adapt a little better is basically front facing combat is now a lot stronger, so you don't have to always fish for the opponent's back. Like doing vanish attacks are now higher risk. Doing chain attacks such as that is also higher risk because the opponent can just kind of block and get out of your combo. So in my opinion, when you're facing opponents, you're gonna want to use those rush attacks from the front a lot more. So you want to kind of extend and then go for your chain, you know what I mean? So you could get more guaranteed damage. As far as Ki Blast, zoning is basically nerfed to the ground. So if you were a zoner, you're gonna have to adapt to more of a mid-range style zoning approach so that you can link those Ki Blasts into actual combos. Once you have your opponent, just follow your chain through and try to get a stun so that you can take your opponent's back. But basically, you don't have to really worry about perception from the front anymore, which is a huge change, okay? It makes perception a lot more risky to use. Also, as far as super perception, you're not going to be seeing it as much in a match. You're not going to be seeing Sonic Sway as much in a match. So basically, offense and aggression has been buffed in this patch, which I like. If you catch your opponent doing perception, you can even purposely hit it to suck up 2 skill points from his resource pool, and that is a huge tool to fight against characters that can transform, such as like superhero Gohan and the like, or even characters that can have an auto spark at the end of matches. If you catch them perceptioning, you can purposely hit that perception and just use up their skill points, which is pretty good. Also, at the start of matches, you're gonna want to use your light smashes and you're gonna want to use your charged up punches and stuff like that, because your opponent has no skill points, and now that time is extended even more now, because now they need 2 skill points at least to block a charged attack, whereas previously they only needed 1. So basically for the start of the match, they're going to be kind of defenseless. So if you're an aggressive player, that is a huge buff to you. I feel like this patch really buffed my playstyle, but I am getting used to the new kind of tracking changes, which are kind of affecting my neutral a little bit. But that is just going to get better with time as you get a feel for the new tracking and the new movement, essentially. Okay, and another thing I want to mention is that sidesteps by association, because tracking has been buffed, sidesteps have been nerfed. Okay, so basically what that means is if you overuse sidestep, you can just get caught by a rush attack. Okay, so basically if I sidestep and my opponent just waits and starts his attack a little later, he will track my movement and hit me with the initial punch, and then that means he's getting off guaranteed damage here. And as you saw, my super there only did 3,000 damage. So supers have been nerfed, guys. So if your complaint about this game was that supers were overused, then there is no complaining about that anymore, because supers have been nerfed a lot. Anyways, this game is in a good spot now. Hopefully you enjoy it, and hopefully we get some more content so that we can actually play the game, because right now you know, singles and basically DP battle are the only 2 modes, and it's getting to the point where it needs a little bit extra. Now if you like this video, go ahead and like and sub, wait for the next one, and let me know if you like the patch. I certainly do, and peace out.